Title: The Gallows of Oblivion. The wind howled like a tormented soul around the abandoned barn, clawing at the decaying wooden walls and seeping through the cracks like icy fingers. Inside, the darkness was almost tangible, a heavy shroud that stifled the senses and amplified every sound. Four teenagers, illuminated by the faint, flickering light of their phones, huddled together in the center of the space, breathing heavily, each breath visible as a ghostly plume. They had been friends since childhood. Liam, the leader, always impulsive and confident; Maya, the skeptic, who analyzed every situation with a logical mind; Noah, the shy one, always in the shadow of others; and Chloe, the sensitive one, with a boundless imagination and a latent fear of the unknown. That night, driven by adolescent bravado and an insatiable search for thrills, they had decided to venture into the barn, drawn by the urban legend that surrounded it, the game of hangman. "Are you sure about this, Liam?" Chloe asked, her trembling voice barely audible above the wind. "I don't like anything about this place." Liam rolled his eyes, his face lit by the phone screen with a mocking smile. "Come on, Chloe, don't be chicken. It's just a story. Are you afraid of a ghost?" Maya, though skeptical, couldn't help but feel a chill run down her spine. "Maybe we should just leave. This place gives me the creeps." Noah, as always, remained silent, observing the surroundings with cautious eyes. The barn's atmosphere was oppressive, an invisible weight that made it difficult to breathe. In the center of the barn, hanging from the ceiling like a macabre pendulum, swayed a thick, frayed rope. The wood of the roof creaked with each movement, creating a guttural sound that echoed in the sepulchral silence. Below the rope, on the floor covered in dust and rodent droppings, someone had drawn spaces for letters in the dirt. A shiver ran down Chloe's spine. "All right, here we go," Liam announced, taking a small stone from his pocket. "I choose the word." He crouched down and began to draw the lines representing the letters in the dirt. "What's the word?" Maya asked, trying to keep her voice steady. Liam stood up, a disturbing smile on his face. "You'll have to guess. Rules of the game, 1 letter per turn. If you fail, something bad happens. Understood?" Silence returned to the barn. Chloe felt the air thicken around her, as if an invisible presence were watching her. Maya was the first to take a risk. "A." Liam shook his head. "Incorrect." An icy whisper swept through the barn, a barely perceptible sound that seemed to come from the darkness. Chloe felt a chill run from head to toe. Noah swallowed hard and suggested, "E." Liam shook his head again. The whisper intensified, becoming an unintelligible murmur. Chloe felt someone watching her from the shadows. Next was Chloe. "I," she said tremulously. "Incorrect." The murmur turned into a voice, a hoarse, muffled voice that seemed to come from the rope hanging from the ceiling. The voice whispered, "Guess. Guess." Liam grinned maliciously. "My turn." "Oh, correct." Liam wrote the letter in the corresponding space. The voice grew louder, clearer, more menacing. "Keep playing. Keep playing." As the game progressed, the tension increased exponentially. Each incorrect letter was followed by a louder whisper, a more intense feeling of cold, a more palpable presence. The barn seemed to come alive. The shadows danced on the walls creaked and groaned as if they were alive. The word was becoming clearer, the letters slowly revealing themselves in the dirt. But as they got closer to the solution, madness began to take hold of them. "N," said Maya, her voice trembling. "Incorrect." Suddenly, the rope began to swing violently, as if someone were pushing it. The wind howled louder, and the barn trembled as if it were about to collapse. "We have to leave," Chloe screamed, panic-stricken. But Liam refused to move. "We can't stop now. We're so close. Guess the letter before it's too late." Noah, seized by terror, closed his eyes and screamed, "G." "Correct." The word was complete. "Hang." A deathly silence filled the barn. Suddenly, the rope fell to the ground with a dull thud. And in its place, floating in the air, appeared a spectral figure, the figure of a man with a rope around his neck, his face contorted by agony. The hanged man's specter emitted a piercing shriek that echoed throughout the barn. The teenagers screamed in terror, trying to flee, but they were paralyzed by fear. The specter lunged at Liam, its bony hands grabbing him by the neck. Liam screamed, kicked, tried to break free, but it was useless. The specter lifted him into the air, its face filled with relentless fury. Chloe, Maya, and Noah watched in horror as the specter strangled Liam to death. When Liam stopped moving, the specter released him, and his body fell to the ground with a dry thud. The specter turned towards the others, its empty eyes filled with indescribable malice. Maya and Noah screamed and ran for the exit, but Chloe stood paralyzed, unable to move. The specter approached Chloe, its icy breath caressing her face. Chloe closed her eyes, expecting the worst. But then, something unexpected happened. The specter stopped in front of her and, in a whisper that seemed to come from the depths of hell, said, "Remember. Never forget." And then, it disappeared. Chloe opened her eyes. The barn was silent, the rope lay on the ground, Liam's body lay inert beside her. Maya and Noah had vanished. Chloe ran out of the barn, without looking back. She ran until she reached the main road, where she was found hours later by a passing driver. She was never the same again. The image of the hanged man specter haunted her for the rest of her life. And every time she heard the word hanged, she felt a chill run down her spine and remembered the horrible night in the abandoned barn. The gallows of oblivion had marked her forever. Madness and death awaited her patiently, reminding her of the game she should never have